YouTube, been meaning to make this video. We still got a few pre-order packs to go through with the Heisman Hopeful, as well as the Cover Athlete pack. Let's get right into it. And we are going to use a ranking system, but I'm going to talk about the pros and the cons of each of these player choices for your team. Starting out with the Cover Athlete pack, as I think it's the worst of the two, or realistically it just is. Starting out with Travis Hunter, overall, I just don't think this card is very good. He is a wide receiver. I would have loved to have seen a dual wide receiver / cornerback card. Would have given me probably a little bit more motivation to end up choosing him, but overall the card is very, very underwhelming. We've seen multiple other receivers already be faster in terms of pre-order options, including a card later on in this video. 81 speed just isn't really going to get the job done. The only way I would say, hey, you're going to take Travis Hunter is if you are just a big Travis Hunter fan and you want to use one of his cards in Ultimate Team, because let's be honest, his base card or any cards, any future versions of his card are going to be very, very expensive. So you just want a Travis Hunter on your team. He is your guy, but not going to be for me. Moving on to number 2, and this one might be controversial. It's going to be the running back, Donovan Edwards. Now, between this card and the Quinn Ewers that will be eventually at number 1, to me, it is just more about position. All three of these cards in the Cover Athlete pack aren't the best cards. They're not going to be used on your team long term. The way that I see them is you're going to choose them and they're going to be on your team as starters, right? High impact players for maybe a day max, especially the running back and quarterback position. You're going to want to upgrade very early on. So Donovan Edwards might be your running back for a few hours and then you move off him. He becomes your backup. Now, overall, his card is actually quite good. I would probably rank him the highest in terms of just looking at stats of any of these three cards. 82 speed, I think it's the fastest running back we've seen from any of the pre-order choices. So if you're a ground and pound guy, you are maybe going to be running the ball more than passing to start. Donovan Edwards actually is probably the choice for you, but for me, I'm more of a passer. But getting to the number 1 option for me, it's going to be Quinn Ewers. And again, this card, he's really not that good. The way that I see it, Quinn Ewers is going to be my quarterback for actually the first few hours of College Football Ultimate Team, and then I will inevitably move off him. But I would rather take 3 to 4 hours of a starting quarterback over 3 to 4 hours of a starting running back. I think it will help me get through solo challenges, as well as maybe 1 or 2 head-to-head seasons. It just a little bit more of an impact position, quarterback over running back. But again, any of these 3 cards, I don't think you're going to be on your teams for very long. But that is why I'm going with Quinn Ewers. If you want extended coverage of the market and how I make my coins in College Football 25, subscribe to the Coin Bible exclusively on Team Get Lucky. Moving on now to the Heisman Hopeful pre-order pack choices. Now, unfortunately, you would have had to have pre-ordered the deluxe version of College Football 25 before, I believe it was June 27th. Otherwise, you are out of luck for this pack. I don't know why they do that. It's kind of greedy, but it is what it is. Let's move on. At number 5, we've got Ashton Gillett. Sorry if I'm mispronouncing this name. Big thing with him, and I've mentioned already in the top 10 alumni ranking videos, defensive end is just not a position. Remember, this is a very important decision, especially this one. 83 overall cards from what we think we're only getting 85 overalls at launch. I know there's been some Will Johnson screenshots of an 89 overall card. I don't believe that to actually be in the game. So this decision, right, this is a card that we're looking for a high impact position, also with longevity. And Ashton Gillett might have longevity on your team. He might be your starting DN for a few weeks. However, defensive end is just not a high impactful position. Now, I can't really see, I don't think speed is on the card yet. You can't see the speed. Oh, I'm so dumb. You can't see the speed. 80 speed. I was going to say, 80s across the board for every face card stat is actually pretty solid. I would recommend this card over, I believe it was the alumni defensive end. We saw the Jared Verse. This card is definitely better. But it just comes down to, there are some cards later on in this ranking that are premium at premium positions with premium stats that I would just clearly choose over this defensive end. Coming in at number 4, and this one is probably a surprise because I just had Quinn Ewers at number 1. Carson Beck is at number 4 for my Heisman Hopeful quarterbacks, Heisman Hopeful rankings. And here is the easiest way I can explain this. Carson Beck and Quinn Ewers, alongside Michael Penix in the alumni pack, are very, very, very similar cards. There is not going to be much gameplay difference, ability difference that is, between any of these 3 quarterbacks. So going back to Quinn Ewers, I would rather take a BND quarterback in the pack that has the other options not be as good, rather than going, and choosing Carson Beck and losing out on one of these top 3 options. Hopefully that makes sense. Again, he is potentially the best pre-order quarterback of the 3 we've seen so far. Very, very good card. You guys know my stance. I don't like choosing a BND quarterback for the purpose that, you got to commit to him for probably 1 to 2 weeks for it to be worth it. Again, he has the high impact. He is going to be your quarterback right away for at least the first week in the game. But in terms of longevity, again, quarterback is that position you're going to want to upgrade premium. You're going to want to buy the best quarterback in the game if you have the coins, and Carson Beck just isn't going to be that. So that's why he's at number 4. Again, it might be a little bit weird seeing Quinn Ebert at number 1, but hopefully you understand that reasoning. Moving on to number 3, we have got Will Johnson, 6'2", so he's got a good frame, 83 speed, and really, these top 3 options, it all comes down to personal preference. The reason why I have Will Johnson at number 3 and not higher on this list is I just think the other DB at the end of this video is just more versatile and just a little bit better. So if you're going to choose defensive back, you might as well go with the one that has a little bit better stats and versatility when it comes to their position. Will Johnson, probably the best player, like IRL player, I would say, in this batch of cards. Potential top 10 pick next year in the NFL draft. If you're a Michigan fan or just want a pure lockdown corner, Will Johnson is your guy. But to me, I just think there's a little bit better option later on in this video. Coming in at number 2, though, we're going to have Zachariah Branch. And really, this is just if you want an explosive receiver as opposed to a defensive back. 83 speed, so he's not the fastest card we're going to see out of all the pre-order options, but he's the fastest or tied for the fastest wide receiver we have seen other than Adonai Mitchell in the alumni pack. Now, the thing with Zachariah Branch, though, is he's a little bit shorter. He's only 5'10", so you're not going to get the height. Now, his route running and catching stats are actually pretty decent. He has 80 deep route running. Maybe that's a threshold, but usually the thresholds, at least in Madden, have always been 85. But 80 deep route running could be the glitch. Again, he's also shorter. I really hope that shorter players really have or feel better when it comes to change of direction and movement as opposed to the taller players. But Zachariah Branch, he's a great card. Really just comes down, do you want a receiver or do you want a defensive back? And that is why he is at number 2. But at number 1, it's Caleb Downs. I think you guys all knew he was going to be number 1. Again, him and Will Johnson are very, very close and very similar when it comes to cards. Also, they happen to be rivals with Ohio State and Michigan. It just comes down to this. Now, Caleb Downs is only 6 foot, so Will Johnson actually has the height on him. But Caleb Downs is +1 speed at 84, and I think the big underrated aspect of this card that no one is really thinking about is he is a safety, and safety has a lot more positional versatility because you can user them. We don't know if linebackers are going to be able to jump in this game, and if they cannot jump, a safety, because unlike corner, which you can play at safety in the slot or outside, you can't play a corner at linebacker or at user, and you can for a safety. So Caleb Downs, I see him being on my team for at least a minimum of 2 weeks. I'm probably going to start him out at safety. Eventually, when I upgrade my safety position, he probably then slots down to user. And then once I get a better user, he then probably slots into the slot cornerback position. So you kind of see he is a high impact position with great stats and then a lot of longevity on the card as well. Caleb Downs is going to be my choice for the Heisman hopeful pre-order pack. Let me know, though, down in the comments below who you guys are taking from each of these packs. I really love how we're getting multiple different packs in terms of pre-order options, because usually in Madden, you either just get a bunch of packs and a bunch of points, and there's not really like a pre-order option. Like there's one card, maybe if that. Whereas college football, you know, we're going to have 4, as long as you pre-order the deluxe edition before June 27th, you're getting 4 pre-order packs. So you can kind of mix and match the puzzle pieces of each of the packs. Of course, you're not going to go Carson Beck, Quinn Ebert, and Michael Penix, you know, in 3 of those packs. You're going to choose 3 quarterbacks. So you kind of, you know, choose. Again, I'm going with Quinn Ebert as my quarterback of the 3 options, but I would recommend you choose at least 1 quarterback out of those 3 packs, at least so you have a starter quarterback for the first day or 2. But yeah, I really like this little different style going into College Football 25 than the previous Maddens. But again, that's all for this video. Comment if you have any questions. Probably gonna have a video, one more video before College Football 25 releases, depending on the information we're getting from a bunch of content creators' videos over the course of this weekend. You probably already watched some of them, as will I. But again, that's all for this video. Comment if you have any questions. Like if you enjoyed. Subscribe if you are new. And until next time, peace.